What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition. Well, ladies, please like the locks, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised of every great content that's going on here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I apologize about the Philly thing. I had no idea that Tyrese Maxey was going to be out, or you don't lock that. We didn't lock it in the premium Discord. There were some people who were able to avoid that landmine, but when you do this the night before and you're trying to lock in value, well, Brooklyn's on a back-to-back. They are now heading into the second half, only up one. They had a really nice start to the game. Brooklyn came back here. Going to be a sweat here for that money line play for the lock. And then the Kelly Olynyk thing. Darko just ends up going to this ridiculous lineup. I posted about it over on X at Eric Lindquist. And, Kelly Olynyk was out there playing really, really good, doing the Kelly Olynyk thing. And they go to Jonte Porter. And Jonte Porter couldn't guard you or me or anyone. It was unbelievable to watch. And just the lineup in general, like, stagger guys, have some starters out there. Against the New Orleans Pelicans, well, again, they're trying to tank. They don't really care. But Kelly Olynyk got paid. Hopefully he can get to somehow, some way, 12 points after just 4 here at halftime. So there's that. We're worried about some other stuff. Just going to be one of those days, perhaps. But we had a really, really, really ridiculously good last couple of weeks. So I'm not going to complain too much, although we've been on the right side of variance. Maybe this is just a little bit of a comeback. But hey, MLB's coming soon. Heard I'm good at that. Heard I'm okay at it. Debatable. Oh yeah, no, I track all the units, posted everything throughout the entire playoffs for the people. Home runs everywhere, home runs there, home runs. Yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun time. So you want to be subscribed here to Odd Shopper, and you want to be following me over on X at Eric Lindquist. I got producer Jacob on hand. We're going to do MLB Lindy's. We're going to do NBA Lindy's. We're going to be bringing you bets. And again, I work tirelessly at this, and it's frustrating when, you have starts like this. Again, I don't even know the results. Don't even know the results of either of these plays, and I'm tilted right now because of just, I don't know, stupid first half of basketball here. But in MLB, it's always nice to have homers of guys, that are going to play 9 innings. You get to watch it, get to lay back, relax, and then you get to watch them hit a moon ball, and then 15 seconds later, it's done. That's the sweat. Coming very shortly. Anyway, we got 8 games. I'm going to fly through this one. I'm going to try to save us a little bit of time here today because I feel really good about the analysis. Not a lot to say other than bet these things that I tell you to bet and don't bet the other things because they're not as good. Bet 365, they're pretty good. Go to the link below if you're in one of those 9 states. I'll talk about a little bit later here. But producer Jacob, hi, hello. How are you? How was your day? Got some thumbs up. That's nice. Let's get to the picks. Our tour begins with the Orlando Magic and the Washington Wizards. I can't think of anything I would rather watch less than this. Now, Jonathan Isaac had a really nice start to that basketball game against Charlotte. They're in an actual dogfight against Charlotte right now. It's like 64-62 near the end of the third quarter. Just a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad basketball game. Well, this will probably be a lot of the same, except for you get this total of 227.5, and you don't get Jonathan Isaac out there because he never plays on these back-to-back situations when he plays a lot of minutes. We'll see. Maybe he never does. I'm going to pull like a Yogi Berra. 60% of the time, he never does it every time or something like that. It's also Sex Panther from Anchorman. Do people talk about Anchorman anymore? I feel like it's a thing. You know what? What movie do people not talk about enough? Because I've got one in the back of my mind. I've got one. There's a movie that people do not talk about enough. Role models. Why do people not talk about Role Models? It's a phenomenal movie and nobody ever quotes it. I don't have a play from this. Orlando -7. It's just a lean. What's your movie? That's the most important part of this segment. We got Cleveland. We got Atlanta. Let's party, friends. We actually have a play from this one. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they played another one. Without one Donovan Mitchell here, they, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Isaac Okoro ends up suiting out. Max Strus, we'll see. Does he play on the back-to-back? I think he ends up doing it. Sam Merrill ended up starting today. Such a weird configuration. But Atlanta, they'll on the back-to-back here. Kobe Buffkin ended up sitting like I called yesterday. Didn't really know how to take advantage of that, and they're absolutely laying it on the Knicks here in this first half. But I'm looking at I ended up having the weirdest card in the history of the premium Discord today. Like Jalen Johnson, double-double was just outrageously juiced. And we were looking at, I bet Alperen Şengün to triple-double at plus 2,200. These are actual things. Weird second-half NBA stuff where you try to mine out small edges, you know. Not like books. I haven't watched a lot of basketball. Haven't computed the data over a lot of basketball here recently either. But this is one where I think it's just a little bit over. I think this is a little too high here. For a back-to-back situation, maybe somehow, some way, we get one. No, we're not going to get Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be out. But maybe we get one Max Strus here in this one to add a little bit of offensive ammunition here for Cleveland, even though he's had a terrible shooting season, been one of the worst in terms of total field goal percentage. Anytime you're next to, like, Spencer Dinwiddie in a statistic that isn't suckage, well, anytime you're next to Spencer Dinwiddie, even if it is suckage, it's probably a bad thing to be. But as you look at the Atlanta side, you know you're going to bring a little bit of pace to the table. Do they play everybody on the back-to-back? DeAndre Hunter playing lots of minutes here, been coming off the bench here. I don't know. There's a lot of things, friends. There's a lot of things here that I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm not trying to figure out the pace here. 221.5. I like it. I don't love it. I don't want more of it. I just want a half unit on it and move along. Got this closer to the 217.5 world, 218 world. It's not a lock, but again, the back-to-back surely does help slow down that pace. Memphis and Philly. Oh, Philly on a back-to-back. This will be a really enjoyable one. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey going to be out for this. Didn't see that coming. That was pretty painful from absolutely nowhere. Sounds like he'll be back in a couple of days, but having concussion syndrome, or having concussion symptoms, excuse me, it's not syndrome. Hopefully he's doing okay. That is kind of the priority. You got Cam Payne in the starting lineup, and he had an illness coming into today. He ends up playing through that. Kyle Lowry starting alongside him. I mean, if I had known, friends, that was going to be the starting lineup that I was going to be backing last night against Brooklyn on the back-to-back, never would have made that play. Never, ever, ever would have made that play. But yet, you got to live with the results of your actions. Again, I just didn't see that one coming from anywhere. As I look at the board for this one, though, I'll actually lean on the Memphis side of things. Memphis, not that they're just playing tough, but that can be some kind of analysis here, but Jaren Jackson Jr. upgraded to questionable. I think that makes it seem more likely than not he will be playing. If I knew he was playing, I would actually back Memphis at +5, but I think tomorrow morning, if he's still in lieu questionable, maybe this buoys up a little bit. 5.5 or 6 is definitely a play, but at 5, I think I'll wait. We'll have some prop exposure on this card. Let's talk Odd Shopper. Part of that prop exposure will surely come from Odd Shopper OS Premium Tools. That is the positive EV tool. We've got the Fantasy Optimizer, the Parlay Builder, all the things you know and love. Even the free tools are phenomenal. Being able to sort through all of the books in your state. Yes, grouping it by your state, seeing what you have available to you. You can sort it directly by the books you have and the books you don't have. And you can take a look and find the best lines for the plays every single day. And all of that, friends, comes in addition to the premium Discord, where you get my betting card, Isaiah Suarez's betting card, Nathan Joyce's betting card, Greg Ehrenberg's betting card. You know a lot of us over here in the old Odd Shopper streets. Friends, check it out for just $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly, but it gets a little bit better. Promo code LINDY, because I gotta 20% off using promo code Lindy. Friends, expert picks, Discord, premium tools. Anytime you can quote the mask, though. The Mask. Jim Carrey in his heyday. Oh my God. Just Cameron Diaz in her heyday. Anyway, that's 20% off this $12, $42 for your first month. Check it all out over at Odd Shopper. Back to the picks we go. I got a little bit frisky. There here on Tuesday. We'll see on Wednesday if I decide to get a little bit frisky. Alperen Şengün triple-double will probably not be in the card against the Clippers. Again, fewer possessions, 224.5. Because the assists, that's really the thing that you're looking at from your center that needs to get buoyed. And fewer possessions, fewer opportunities to get there. Maybe the number. Again, it's all about price and probability. If you give me plus 50,000 for Alperen Şengün to triple-double, I'll bet that every day for next 8 years before he's out of the league. But until that point, friends, again, it's about price and probability. I think the price and probability are pretty darn efficient here in this one, which has me kind of taking a look. It's an opera, reading rainbow. At the centers in this one here as well. Alperen Şengün on the back-to-back. What do we get in terms of the Rockets on this back-to-back? I don't really know. It's really hard to pin down. But based on some of the numbers that I saw today on Alperen Şengün, I'm going to be interested. Again, double-double was a little bit thin when you're talking about like minus 170, minus 180 there, but against the Clippers, again, fewer possessions. We start getting closer to that minus 110 land, minus 120 land. I can live there. Probably not going to get it if he ends up having a absolute smash here today. First quarter, pretty good start. Couple assists, couple rebounds. That's really what you're looking for here when you get off to these early sweats in the triple-double department. It's probably going to come nowhere close. Again, 22-1 for a reason, but there was value there. Positive EV betting. That is what we're here for. Depends on your bankroll size as well. Come and ask in the premium Discord. Can answer all those questions. But let's talk Ivica Zubac here in this one. Because again, the Los Angeles Clippers, friends, you got Russell Westbrook. He's going to be out for a while. They're hoping to get him back before the playoffs. But Ivica Zubac's probably like 26, 28 minutes against Houston. Alperen Sengun, maybe you can get close to 30. I doubt it, though. They've been very, very careful with him, cautious. Daniel Tice been playing more and more minutes, as he kind of would expect. One of the more underrated players, talk about that with producer Jacob from time to time. Go Celtics, right? That's a thing. He was really good there once upon a time. Oh, my God. Toronto's down like 27. What the hell are we even doing here, guys? Kelly Olynyk has 5-2. Nice start to the third, guys. Oh, so Kelly Olynyk made a free throw. Missed another one. Anyway, Ivica Zubac and Alperen Sengun, double-doubles. Those are the only things I'm really entertaining here at the moment, but it's more of like a look-ahead line. I have no idea where these numbers end up landing when they come out. Probably not going to come out till tomorrow morning. Wednesday morning, that is. Obviously, the morning that you're listening to, more than likely, as you're on your way to work. Hi, hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys spending your mornings with me here throughout this NBA season. MLB coming very, very shortly. We'll be able to bring up new information, new stuff. But in the time being, Alperen Sengun double-double, looking more of like a break-even minus 115, minus 120 type, but want a little bit better. And then Zubac, this is really the one where I think you're going to get a nice price on it. So we'll see where they land. If you want to know if I bet it or not, hit me up at Eric Lindquist over on X. I'll be happy to let you know. We're going to bet this, though. Chicago minus 2.5 going up against Utah. Welcome back to the land of the living, Mr. Kobe White. Nice to see him take over a basketball game. It was kind of a weird one from DeMar DeRozan. I don't know how many people decided to watch Sacramento hosting Chicago on a nice, lovely Monday evening with their lady. But, you know, my lady is just so damn lucky. Anyway, DeMar DeRozan was fantastic overall. 33 points, but 10 for 12 from the field. Very, very efficient. Got to the line a lot. He's been getting to the line a lot recently. 12, 19, and 12 free throw attempts in 3 of his last 5. Wanted to point that out. But, hey, Kobe White really emerged. 14 for 19, 37 points, 44 minutes. Really great stuff to see from him because, again, he had been on the struggle bus, like the Tyrese Halliburton. Hopefully he gets off it today. We'll see. Shout out to Iowa State. I really want to back them against Utah here. I think everything you just saw on the Utah side of things, not that it's smoke and mirrors, but they played Washington. And now all of a sudden, we're going to only have to lay 2.5 with, I'm not going to call the Bulls like competent, but like, they can do a lot of different things stylistically based on what their opposition is going to throw out there. They ended up getting back Alex Caruso to play minutes there. They can go Drummond and Vooch and have them share the floor. In fact, projecting them to share the floor here at times and spurts over the course of, you know, this game specifically. But Keontae George questionable, leaves that game without an illness. Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton and John Collins go absolutely ballistic, but you know what? I do not care. It was Washington. We're talking about the fastest team in the NBA playing at the Clarkson Sexton speed that they want to be playing, and Keontae George, if he hadn't been throwing up on himself. Washington, number 1 in pace. You know what Chicago is? 29th. Friends, we're going to lay the 2.5 here with Chicago. I'd be shocked if this stayed in this spot because, again, no Lauri Markkanen is going to come out and knock down shots. You got a very thin rotation. Lucas Samanic getting starts instead of Bryce Sensabaugh. What? This is not a good team. No Taylor Hendricks. Going to be very thin yet again for Utah. Thin at altitude. Well, Chicago never is at altitude. Whatever, Chicago -2.5. We like it, almost a lock. Looking forward to the late night hammers here in this one. Golden State hosting Milwaukee. That's first off the bat here. Have another speculative play. We talked about the coupling of Alper and Şengün, Ivica Zubats there in the Clippers and Houston game. Obviously, fewer possessions there. We're going to get more possessions here. I'm a little bit surprised at this total. I would have made this total a lean, in fact, as well. But something I like a little bit more is the speculative play of coupling the point guards. Neither of them like to play defense. They are certainly the weak links on their respective teams. I'm, of course, talking about... It'd be funny if I was, like, talking about Patrick Beverley. Who would be the other backup point guard? It's like the backup point guard right now for Golden State. They have like a couple of different guys that they rotate in. Gary Payton II would technically be it, but he never has ball handling duties, so it's kind of weird to talk him. It's like the guy there. They've had Lester Canones play some, I suppose. Brandon Podziemski's probably your backup point guard or whatever. But Andrew Wiggins sounds like he's going to be back in the fray here for this one. That's exciting. Hopefully he's doing well. Not sure exactly what was going on, but Steph Curry, he's a below 50th percentile defender on the one side of the floor. That is very, very obvious. And though Draymond Green has been buoying this defense a lot of late, that's a little bit of a tongue twister, really like the opportunity here to attack Steph Curry specifically with one Damian Lillard, and then attacking Steph Curry with Damian Lillard. That's what I was getting at. These are two of the worst defenders that you're going to find on any kind of like title contender types. Damian Lillard's been better defensively, just buoyed by everybody else around him here. But again, it's weird the way that sometimes these defensive positions get put together. I really, really like this one. Friends, 30 plus points for Steph Curry, 25 plus points for Damian Lillard, Draymond Green on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not anybody on Milwaukee really going to be able to stop Steph if he wants to be chucking, if he needs to be chucking. Sure, getting a guy who's more high usage, like an Andrew Wiggins in there, probably not as ideal as having a Podziemski starting in there, but hey, it's Steph Curry. Have you ever been worried about his usage? I surely have not. Also never been worried about Bet365, friends. They are one of the most reputable sports books, not just here in America, but internationally. If you haven't signed up in the great states of Arizona, Colorado, New Jersey, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and Louisiana, that is where it is available. Those 9 states. Take advantage down at the link below. Here's what you get. $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 or more, period. End of story. It's really the easiest thing ever. So if you're in one of those 9 states, there's no reason you wouldn't be taking advantage of this offer right now. It is brand new there in Arizona. It is rather recent in a number of spots. I know it's been in New Jersey and Iowa and a couple of those spots for a while. But friends, Bet365, they have some of the weakest, yes, we're talking the weakest lines. You are the weakest line, goodbye. Or in other words, just bet it. That's probably the best way of saying it. Just bet it. So Bet365, friends. Bet 5, get 150 down at the link below. Only if you're 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. 2 games to rock with. One of my favorite things in betting is some of the adjustment that happens out of recency bias. I'm going to throw in recency bias for this one specifically. Now, Oklahoma City, they are 11-point favorites going up against Portland. They have title aspirations. They are in the they're not in the driver's seat. It's a very competitive Western Conference here at the top of the standings. You've got my Minnesota Timberwolves. You've got OKC. They're within a half game of each other. Then you have Denver that is tied with OKC there. Again, Minnesota's played the half game more than both of those teams, but this is just a smash spot for one, the only Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet Holmgren, we saw him go berserk against Victor Wembanyama. Then we saw him go on the road there, go into Phoenix and play a really nice basketball game, followed by complaining about being tired on Twitter. And not that I'm going to complain, but he's played every single game, 61 of them. He was just giving Mikal Bridges a little bit of a shout out, but came across weird to some people. I don't know if you saw it. It's not really pertinent to this conversation. What is, though, friends, is what we expect for Chet Holmgren here in this spot against Portland, because his points prop, which was at 17.5 2 games ago, dropped down to 16.5 against the Lakers. Now it's sitting at 15.5 in perhaps the best matchup out of all of them. Obviously, Phoenix and Nurkic, he had no problems rebounding over the corpse of Chet Holmgren. And then you go have to deal with AD on a back-to-back. I repeat, deal with him on a back-to-back. And this, friends, is where I just kind of look at, why are we adjusting this number so much? Couple of reasons. One, they're 11-point favorites against Phoenix. They were slight favorites. We ended up blocking that situation. That was a very, very fun one. We ended up firing that up. It felt really, really nice. But then they go out and they get just completely pummeled against the Lakers. Not that surprising. Not that weird of a situation. A Sunday to Monday back-to-back coming to LA. Such is life. But now you get Portland. And what are we looking at here on the Portland side? We're looking at Matisse Thybulle, Tamani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, all questionable, and DeAndre Ayton, doubtful. That is going to send into the rotation. And again, he's got SGA that he has to deal with for usage. And there's no doubt that that's going to suppress a little bit of what you're expecting for this upside to be in terms of the usage. Chet Holmgren, just a 21% usage. But that is 75th percentile in the NBA. I'm not going crazy devaluing his minutes, but he gets Doo-Wop Reith as his matchup on the other side of this one. And I got to throw it out there. I'm not a big player versus position kind of guy, but most centers, again, just kind of neutral, hanging out. That's kind of what Doo-Wop Reith is here. But I just don't understand why it is that Chet Holmgren isn't, like, why are we devaluing his points prop from 2 from where it was before? Yeah, part of it is the pace. Oklahoma City, they played a pace. Portland's probably not going to be able to hang, and we have a pretty low total, 224. So maybe it's properly weighted, but there's a part of me where I look defensively, and I just don't see any kind of resistance that they're going to have for Chet Holmgren. I know Jalen Williams is your premier guy here, not named SGA, and SGA is probably in line to win an MVP. It's going to be him or Jokic if the season ended today. The blowout to the Lakers didn't exactly help things, but again, a back-to-back. I love the bounce back here for Oklahoma City. I think they probably cover the 11 as well. Thought about putting that in the light category, but something I just love even more, the prop. My favorite play of the day thus far, over 15.5 points for Chet Holmgren. Again, just a standard unit play. I'm not saying fire it to the moon. I'm not saying send it into orbit, but this is your best play as of right now here, the night before, leading yourselves into this Wednesday slate. Go get yourself some Chet Holmgren exposure. Minus 115 over at DraftKings Sportsbook right meow. And a pretty clear-cut play to get ourselves out of here. Sacramento small dogs heading into Los Angeles themselves. LA Lakers fans every time this time of year. Here's the thing. Last year, I backed them a lot coming into the playoffs. They end up running crazy. They get to Denver. I was able to hedge out a little bit, talked exactly through how I was going to go about doing that because, again, the Austin Reeves, the D'Angelo Russell, the defensive issues that they were going to have against Jamal Murray were very, very apparent, and that came to fruition. And that Jokic character is pretty good at basketball, wouldn't you say? Michael Porter Jr. came to play basketball. They were able to keep him on the floor because he wasn't a complete zero. And the Lakers, it's like Torian Prince, Rui Hachimura, defensively an easier matchup here than most for Denver come playoff time. But of course, we're talking Sacramento and LA. I haven't been the biggest backer here of Sacramento this season. They are 75-1 in terms of finals odds. Wild to see them 50 higher here. Yeah, $50 higher than that of the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, I'm not the biggest proponent of Sacramento, but I got to think that they're within the realm of this kind of a number. I think that might be why producer Jacob decided to drop that one. He's just like, oh, very intriguing. And obviously, Sacramento, they're that textbook like high school football coach thing where they say, you play to the level of your competition. They play to the level of their competition. It's kind of what Sacramento does. They get up against good teams. They get smoked against teams they absolutely shouldn't lose to in a million years. But part of that is because guys like De'Aaron Fox can't guard you or me. Domantas Sabonis, not exactly a positive defender in a lot of ways, can be all right at times. He's gotten better. It's just such a weird construction of a basketball team, and they really need to ride their stars here. But going up against Anthony Davis and company, there's one play here. It's actually minus 130, minus 135 everywhere. Probably will be even worse by the time you get this. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I want you to run and get this one down for a half unit. Not like the worst thing ever if it's 8 and you end up getting to it. But Domantas Sabonis assists, I think, are very intriguing. One, we have a nearly 240 total here. Sacramento gets to go up against LA. And LA, I've said this multiple times over the last month and a half, 2 months. They have sold out on the defensive end in order to be competent on the offensive end. They have Reeves, they have Russell. They're making everything happen in that regard. And as such, I look at stuff like this, and Domantas Sabonis, 7.5 assists. 7.5 assists. I know De'Aaron Fox has started to come alive, but this is still a phenomenal opportunity here for him to get back into the positive good graces of everybody here. Again, 7 assists in a high-paced matchup. Look at his last 3. Denver, Jokic. Minnesota, Gobert, pretty good. And Chicago, that being Vooch and Drummond switching in there or at times on the floor together. Really slow pace there. I think this is a massive, massive outlier type number. Almost locked this one as well. Again, 2 plays I love. Chicago, -2.5. Domantas Sabonis, over 7.5. You want to make those each a unit? Sounds great to me. I'd be fine with that. I'm going a half unit because, again, I end up betting a ton of props over on OS over the course of Wednesday morning. A lot of unders. We're going under. But Domantas Sabonis, we're going over 7.5 assists. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's go make some money. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do? Got to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board here for this lovely Wednesday slate we have before us. 8 games. Going to be awesome. Producer Jacob, thank you per usual. Thank you, Bet365. Check them out down below if it's available in your state. Again, 9 states where it's available. Great, great stuff. Brand new to Arizona. Check it out if you're in Arizona. Again, bet 5, get 150 in bet credits. If you're 21 and over, if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm going to go tilt this Kelly O stuff. Again, Darko, what was that lineup at the end of the first quarter, beginning second quarter? What are we doing? MLB's coming shortly. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Wednesday.